sweet, 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 sweet. Squaw! Squaw! What's cracking, everybody, and welcome to episode 209 of the Good Kraken podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Arnell Pearson, alongside the man who's not actually here, Devin Stanford.
That's right. I'm in the woods right now, and it's really red outside. I don't really understand what's going on.
That blood rain came down. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. I heard some really out there words. You know, I just didn't understand what was happening. You know, they were so scary. I don't even want to repeat them because it's all red outside.
Can't see out there. You know what I mean? It's just too dark, it's too red, it's too wet.
Yeah, it's weird, and like the edges of my body are flickering right now. I don't understand it.
Jesus Christ, Devin. How are you doing today, dog?
I'm doing good. I woke up, did a little bit of work, and then played some more Dead Island. You know, I had myself a tasty little cinnamon raisin English muffin with some butter on it. You know,
Ooh, okay,
got my second thing of coffee right here that's also red.
It just like disappears into the background.
Whoa, what is happening?
He's drinking the tree. Ooh. We also have, though, the wonderful Snack King, Garrick Bartholomew Eaton. How are you, Garrick?
Chilling. I woke up entirely too early this morning because my body's internal clock just seems to have decided that 6:30 is the appropriate time to wake up on all days of the week, not just work days. So I woke up this morning and went and ran some errands and made some brekkies and stuff for the wife. And then I promptly started cleaning my office because it was starting to look like fucking depression in here.
Rightfully so.
So I was like, well, we got to fix that. So I was like, all right, let's fix this up. You know, did some cleaning, and then I played a little bit of video games, did some Tribes of Midgard with Morbid, because we have some Saturday morning game time we do. And then now I'm here.
Here, ready for the juice, you know what I'm saying? Because we got a fucking lovely one for all of you guys at home. Oh, I'm so excited to talk about this shit, you know what I'm saying? Let's go, boys. It's going to be a good one. With that said, this is the Good Kraken Podcast, your choice for all the nerdy video game, bot media news, reviews, and discussions that you want to hear live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 12 p.m. If you're on this wave, you can head on over to our Discord channel where you can submit questions and topics of the show, get exclusive post-show content, and soon have early access to episodes before they go live on podcasts and video services across the digital sea.
Yarg.
Excuse me. But if you've emptied your pockets for the latest and greatest in entertainment, that's totally fine. You can watch us record the show live right here at twitch.tv/Good Kraken Show. If you have Amazon Prime, you also have Twitch Prime. DJ, tell them.
Prime Gaming.
Thank you, Devin. We would love for you to give that to us. Keep us pushing content out for all of you listening or watching at home. But you can also support us by going to our YouTube channel, clicking that beautiful bell and big red button, or by subscribing to our podcast channel by searching Good Kraken with an exclamation mark and leaving a review there.
Review.
Garrick! My man, we have some captain's orders. You know what I'm saying? No. Guys, first off, our newest episode of the Shipwreck Show is live on YouTube and your podcast service of choice. We got a chance to talk about DJ's first speeding ticket. This fucking
He was
guy.
so mad.
He was so upset. You can just tell by the way he was telling the story, man. It's fucking good stuff. You guys can check that out over there. We have some other stuff that we talk about on the episode too. But generally speaking, actually some pretty shit posty ass stuff we talk about there that people are not gonna get enough of. Especially because Devin has zero imagination. Just zero imagination, this guy.
Well, listen, just because I don't sit there and think about a fucking sponge and want to fuck it does not mean I have zero imagination.
You're telling me
weirdo.
You're telling me you've never seen like a little like spacey creature thing with a fat ass in a movie and thought,
No.
I have, you know what I'm saying?
No.
I mean, same.
I don't know about you, but me and my friends would run a train on GT.
I'm just
Gamora,
DTF,
sure,
so.
but like a fucking blob, no.
You ain't never looked at that xenomorph and been
I'd
like,
say-
No. That seems awful.
I mean, Predator was pretty daddy, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying?
I don't get that, dude. That mouth looks so unappealing.
Listen. It's only unappealing.
I know what that mouth does. It's got teeth.
It's only unappealing
Very
if
sharp,
you
long
have
ones.
high standards for yourself. Okay, my standards are through the fucking floor.
About to say, are you kidding me?
That sounds like a you problem, not a me problem.
It
all
is
right?
like maybe you need to like get on board.
In this
here, you know
case,
what I'm saying?
in this case, it is about the destination, not the loot that you find along the way.
That is true. But speaking of the loot along the way, we have one more week of weird scheduling bullshit. Next week will be a normal week of our usual schedule, okay? But the week after that, we have to flip Splash Damage to a Wednesday, and then we're not doing content on Friday because we're going to be seeing Guardians of the Galaxy. There's just a lot of stuff that we have going on at once. We wanted to make sure that we were coming in hot with you guys. But again, keep up with the end of our episodes. Each episode, we let you guys know a brief rundown of our schedule. And then each Monday on our Discord channel, Garrick, the lovely Snack King himself, puts up a schedule for all of you guys to be able to look up in our scheduled segment channel over there on Discord. You guys can check it out there if you need to keep up with it. But
It's
Devin,
called Weekly Schedule.
yes, weekly schedule section. It's great. It's a good channel. But Devin, if you could please tell the people at home what we have for them today.
Well, brothers, something that people really don't do in a lot of these movies that we're about to talk about is you need to protect your fucking neck, boy. Because it's the gallows.
I really thought you were about to spiral there for a second. Like, a lot of the things a lot of people don't do is protect their fucking neck. But
And when you don't protect your neck, sometimes people are going to come after that neck. And when people come after that neck and you ain't protecting it, you're going to find yourself with a hurt neck. And you know what happens when you got a hurt neck? Your neck fucking hurts. And sometimes you die.
But at Brevin the Dude Co., you can get a neck brace today. It's like,
I'm telling you. You ever see the movie Wild Wild West? Yes, I have found out how to implement those magnetic shackles
Okay,
you
all
see.
right.
All right. And you
that
can
one's
protect
what I
your
want.
neck too.
Yeah, I was not prepared for that one. But you can protect your neck too for 3 easy payments of $99.99.
99999.9999999. That's more sense than it's worth, though, Devin. I know.
Evil Dead Rise, ladies and gentlemen, released on April 21st, 2023, directed by Lee Cronin, who actually has not done a big movie like this before. He's done some like super like B level horror movies, like only like a couple too. But this is his first voyeur into like a big franchise. And I'm sure we're gonna get into it later, but budget of $15 million, a box office so far, including previews, of $12.8 million, and a runtime of an hour and 36 minutes. Now, we are doing a new thing for all of our movie reviews. We're adding on something that we're calling, or that is called, the Bechdel test. The Bechdel test is a measure of representation of women in film and other fiction. The test asks whether a work features at least 2 women who talk to each other about something other than a man for more than 1 minute of screen time. And this is to give us a good idea of like the sense of diversity in movies as they come rolling out. We like to make sure that we're representing in the best way possible. And Evil Dead Rise does pass the Bechdel test. It absolutely does. Multiple times, actually.
It exceeds the Bechdel test.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, there's many times that we had 2 women talking about a lot more than men. A lot more. Yeah. A lot of bigger problems than men in this. There is a man problem, but it's very underneath everything else.
It's like brushed over. Like it's maybe referenced like 2 or 3 times in the whole movie.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Oh, side note.
Yeah.
The NVIDIA broadcast background replacement works a lot better than Discord, is what I found out, which is how I got rid of the crazy artifacting.
Oh, there you go. That does look a lot better, actually. Yeah, NVIDIA's AI shit is getting a real nice these days. So you don't look quite as fuzzy, so that's good. I'll take it. Hey, Devin, how's the forest out there today?
Red.
We have some fun facts for you.
Hey, listen. Don't go out there spurting your Malones, okay?
For our audio listeners at home, Devin has a picture of the 2013 Evil Dead wallpaper behind him that is like the bloodified version where like after the crimson rain comes down. Red.
Red.
That's fucking good, dude. Anyway, some fun facts for you guys. Firstly, this movie was originally set to be an HBO Max original release alongside the likes of House Party, a Batgirl movie, Blue Beetle, a Christmas-themed follow-up to Scoob titled Scoob Holiday Haunt, and a Christmas-themed follow-up. However, as part of a massive restructuring under Warner Brothers Discovery, CEO David Zaslav, and due to strong test screening performances, the studios decided to release Evil Dead Rise, House Party, and Blue Beetle theatrically, while Batgirl and Holiday Haunt were outright canceled.
I mean, yes.
Yeah, I mean, this movie coming straight to HBO Max would have been wild to me, because this movie feels like a theatrical movie, like for sure.
Yeah, I like. What was the name of the main actress too?
The mom.
Yeah, she fucking performed.
Hey,
bro.
we'll get there. Let's not talk too much about it. But yes, her name is Alyssa Sutherland.
Yeah, it like if that went straight to, HBO Max or whatever the fuck they're calling it now, fuck you Discovery. Actually, Animal Planet's better.
did any of you guys have something that Alyssa Sutherland that you knew her from prior to this movie? No? Okay. Because she is in Vikings, the show Vikings.
Oh.
She is Ragnar Lothbrok's second wife that he cheats on his first wife with.
Okay, that makes sense. She's got a strong chin.
Mm-hmm. Just take it.
She got a strong chin.
Garrick's so fucking over this episode already. Director Lee Cronin stated in an interview that 6,500 liters or 1,720 gallons of fake blood were used for the movie. Obviously, no spoilers here, but we know where a majority of that came into play. But after previous films had been released by Rosebud Releasing, actually just De Laurentiis, I'm assuming that's pronounced,
De Laurentiis
Entertainment Group under a different name, Universal, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, and TriStar Pictures Film District, the franchise returns to its original distributor, New Line Cinema, i.e. Warner Brothers. So yes, the original Evil Dead franchise was released under these guys, and now we're back, you know what I'm saying? Girl Spit, I don't know how big a liter or a gallon is. So a liter is about a liter of cola, and a gallon is about a gallon of milk.
Gallon of milk. Milk.
Gallon of milk.
A liter of cola and a gallon of milk. Yeah, those are the appropriate measuring units for both of those. I love that.
Just take that with what you will.
I love your unit of measurement, you fucking child.
Liter of cola. Along with his voice cameo on a phonograph record, Bruce Campbell also contributed some Foley to the film. And I don't know if you guys know what Foley is, but for people that do not, Foley is natural sound effects of things in movies. So if someone's taking a step, that sound effect of a creak or something like that underneath the step, that's Foley. When Cronin stating, quote, "There's a scene around an eye where there's some munching." And Bruce created that sound by eating an apple furiously for me. End quote. That is the most Bruce Campbell-ass thing to do for a movie.
He was a producer alongside Sam Raimi. They were executive producers on this, correct?
Ooh, actually, I don't think so. Hold on, actually. Written by Lee Cronin, music by Stephen McKeon. Let me fact check. Produced by Robert Tapert. So no, they were not producers on it.
What? I swear I saw that.
I knew they were involved. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're not credited. But I know for a fact they were heavily involved from the start.
Let's find out. Let me find out. I want to make sure we're coming correct, guys. Sure, we're coming correct.
I did a lot of research on this film, and they were involved because it was back in. This got slated for them like in 2015.
Oh, Robert Tapert was the executive producer, but yes, Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell were both part of the production team. So yes, yeah, okay. We are correct.
But
so
I knew they were
Raimi
involved.
And Campbell didn't completely cut ties with Evil Dead. The two longtime collaborators came on as executive producers, with Campbell appearing in a small cameo role.
Oh, there we go. Okay, well, I guess they just triple teamed this fucking movie. All right, thank you for that information. I want to make sure people at home know that we're giving the appropriate information correctly at when we need to. So his name was in the credits with Sam Raimi. Thank you, Girlsmith. Thank you. I did not notice that.
And the source is Screen Rant. Is where I got that from.
Perfect. Thank you, my friend. Well, guys, let us get into the nitty gritty here. So we're just gonna fucking balls on the wall, baby. Let's fucking kill you. I'm saying, Devin, your top level thoughts of Evil Dead Rise.
First of all, I already forgot her name because I have a terrible short-term memory.
Alyssa Sutherland.
Yeah, Alyssa Sutherland. She performed so fucking well in this movie. Like, really, like, played her part. Like, bravo, clap. Like, seriously, I was actually really impressed with it. We already know that she becomes a Deadite through the trailer, so that's no spoiler, you know. But she did a great job. Her, like, monster, like, character acting was fucking top-notch, honestly. I really enjoyed it. Now, second of all, the dark tone throughout this movie, great. Just like the way that they use the contrast, the colorway, and just how it just had that ominous look to it, even when it wasn't at the actual horror elements of the movie. It just had a really dark undertone to it, right? Like, it almost made you feel a little uneasy from the way that they did the picture. Second of all, kids did great. You don't really see a lot of like child actors in movies or TV shows nowadays who actually act, because like sometimes you feel like there's like that fake persona they're putting on. A good like example of that is I rewatched Phantom Menace recently. God, that kid that played Anakin.
Fuck you, Anakin. This fucking guy.
Come on, R2. Like, worst child actor ever. Like,
Jesus Christ, man, just shitting on it. All right.
yeah. Like, just it didn't do well. I really like the lore that they establish in this movie too, and the way that they do connect it to the other movies and other details of the movies. I won't explain why, but there are some obvious things, the way that they expand upon that just expand upon the Evil Dead franchise, like overall, and makes me excited for future content, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
You know? But I love the use of the horror elements that they did do. It wasn't like a straight up like, I'm fucking freaked out from this, but it was just like a kind of skin crawly, like, oh, they're doing that. Ooh, you know, the cheese grater, eating the wine glass. Those are all things in the trailer as well. You know, they show it like briefly in the trailer, but when you watch it in the movie, trust me.
The red band trailer, just to be very specific. We're playing the green band trailer right now, guys. So Twitch would never allow it.
And there's a lot of blood, like a lot of blood. And I had a good time. I thought it was fun. It had a lot of the campy elements that you would expect from Evil Dead. So they found a good way to keep that going. Where I feel like in 2013 Evil Dead, they didn't use enough camp from the Evil Dead like franchise. Does that make any sense to you guys?
Sure.
Yeah. But overall, I had a really good time with it.
Okay, all right, man, I like it. Garrick, your top level thoughts of Evil Dead Rise?
This movie was okay. It was okay. It was almost exactly what you expected to be from the trailer. There was a lot of good things that I really did enjoy about it. One thing I do want to state is do not go into this movie expecting it to be tied to any of the pre-existing um, Evil Dead movies. It is not. It is completely standalone in everything except for one reference. Um, it connects it and it builds on the universe, and it does so amazingly, but it doesn't touch on like really any of the pre-existing characters, past events, anything. This is very much an isolated event, and they really established that early on because this is the first film not to take place in a cabin.
Yes.
This takes place in like a derelict apartment building, essentially. And it made for a very interesting change of pace. I actually really liked the apartment setting. It made for some really interesting horror moments that you get that you wouldn't have been able to accomplish in a setting like being out in the forest. And I really, really liked the creature design at the end. That was probably I think that was really the highlight of the movie for me, alongside Alyssa Sutherland's like performance. She really does carry this film greatly through fantastic, fantastic character acting. And I do really want to applaud like the writers of the film for being willing to take some risks with some character desks that a lot of other horror writers would have stayed away from. And I really liked that. On the flip side, though, this movie was not scary. It's not scary. Like, I will tell you outright, it's not scary. And that is due to the fact that it uses a lot of that camp. I love that camp, but this is going to be one of those movies where I feel like it's if you're not expecting it to be like the 2013 one, this relies a little bit more on that macabre, uncomfortable humor, which it does really well. But the 2013 version really just went straight for super hard, super uncomfortable, in-your-face horror, and this relies a lot more on the camp with this character pieces. The one thing I was the most disappointed with in the film, I will say though, was I felt like it switched to relying on the shock value way too early on, which does nothing for me as a viewer. I am jump scare immune. I hate it. So there was a lot of moments that I, as a viewer, felt like I didn't get to participate in, as I was like in a very full theater and everybody else was jumping along, and I was like, fuck, this doesn't do anything for me, because I just watched so many horror films that this stuff, I can see it coming a mile away. So it was good, but I really wish it would have gone for some more genuine horror moments rather than just for like the gore porn sort of like really, really in your face shock value moments. Because a couple of those played out so really, really well, but I felt like they relied on them so heavily that towards the end I was pretty done with them. But yeah, I really like the movie. If you enjoy the Evil Dead franchise, like, I definitely feel like this is an honorable entry into the franchise as a whole. And I really liked what it did for the expansion of the universe's lore, and hopefully what that might actually maybe mean for the game in the future, because the game is directly tied to the film's canon in its own fun way. And I think that was really the shining moment. It's like it's a great addition to the franchise. That's what I really like about this movie.
Sure. Yeah, man, this movie is good. It's good. I don't really think that I can aim for much higher than that with this. The Alyssa Sutherland really does carry this movie. She does such a phenomenal job of playing this deformed demonic mom, and in a way that like Mia, the character Mia in the 2013 Evil Dead, she did such an impeccable job playing that character too. And as we can probably attest for the amount of horror movies that all of us have watched, it's hard. You would imagine it's difficult to be the main character of this whole haunting scenario because there's so much more to it than just acting like a person, right? And Alyssa Sutherland like plays that so well, but she's also supported incredibly well by all the actors of this family that did such a good job. They did such a good job. Like my issues with this movie aren't the acting. The acting was impeccably well done. The child actors were incredible. The sister, yeah, like Girl Spit mentions, it's Lily Sullivan. She fucking nailed it too. Like every character in this movie was believable. I had not an ounce of doubt in my brain that like these characters were fucking horrified by what was happening. Fucking Cassie is the little girl. I had multiple times I was like, oh, this poor girl is so fucking traumatized now. Like she's fucked for life, dude. Like this girl is so fucked.
Stephanie.
Yeah, but I believed it though. I believed it because even she did an incredible job of portraying that fear, portraying that horror here. However, my gripes with this movie kind of land very, very close to what Garrick was saying. A lot of moments in this movie kind of feel unlike 2013's Evil Dead. A lot of moments in this movie specifically feel like they're violent for violence sake. And just to kind of like get up the point, oh, it's Evil Dead. It's got to be gross and have gross moments happening. And it kind of just starts to feel like that a lot of times. And a lot of that I think is, I'm in agreement here with Garrick. It feels like they didn't know if they wanted to commit in that direct horror direction that 2013's Evil Dead was committing to, or if they wanted to give it as an ode to Sam Raimi. And it kind of plays very, very safe in both lanes, but because it plays it safe in both lanes, it doesn't do extremely well in either or, because they kind of just took the safe route. So yeah, I mean, like, even though the characters do an incredible job, this is a safe Evil Dead movie. Like in every way that you possibly can. Like it is very, very tropey for Evil Dead, so to speak. I mean, like, we have everything in this that is in a multitude of other Evil Dead movies, whether or not it is a reference, whether or not it is just a moment. There's many scenes in this that are very just like, yeah, I saw that in 2013's Evil Dead, or oh, I saw that in Army of Darkness. Like, and that's cool and that's dope, and like I love that for me and other like really big Evil Dead fans. But as far as it being a horror movie, it didn't do anything that 2013's Evil Dead didn't already deliver for me. And that, but aside from this incredible portrayal of the character from Alyssa Sutherland, which I think like basically it kind of felt like they just looked at her and said, hey, we need you to just like be a fucking maniac. And she's like, got you. and they just filmed it for an hour and a half, and like it was perfect. It was fucking brilliant. But like outside of that character stuff, the movie has very little to kind of like really like grab a hold of that kind of like left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth. Like all the moments that were just violent for violence sake were actually not even there in abundance. Like realistically speaking, there's maybe three moments in this movie that are actually like the peak like violent moments in this movie, where Evil Dead had one for like every single character that turned into a deadite, which was like 6. There was like 6 of those fuckers in that movie. And this kind of like shadowed like, oh, there was like the 2 and like the mom, and then there's like mom again, and then like some other stuff happens in between, right? And like cool, like they gave us a tiny little bit of a different take as far as Evil Dead is concerned, but just I would have wanted them to lean in the direction that 2013 took, because that was such a direction that I was ready for as an Evil Dead fan. Now in my 30s, I was like, cool, I don't necessarily need Evil Dead to be a campy movie anymore, because Evil Dead 2013 showed me it didn't need to be. And they still were kind of like, dude, Sam Raimi's a part of this, so maybe we want to like still have some of his campiness in it. And the campiness that was in this movie wasn't even incredibly campy either. Like a lot of it's like that campiness relied on like the psychological warfare of the demon. And demons do that in every demonology movie.
Mm-hmm.
And like that psychological warfare is such a like big trope in demon films that like they kind of just leaned on that to be the campiness of this. We're like the only other really camp moment was like the kind of goofy trope stuff. And then that was like, oh, kid finds thing and thing comes up here and like thing happens and record player. Like it's just like, I don't know. The campiness isn't the same kind of like Sam Raimi campiness that we got in like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. You know what I mean? Like that we got in the original Evil Dead films, like we got in Spider-Man. Like there's just like a level of like goofiness that you would expect from a Sam Raimi film, and this movie doesn't even take it there either. And so it's not a very good horror movie, and it's not a very good campy horror movie. So it's just a good Evil Dead movie. And like that is tight for Evil Dead fans. It sucks for horror movie fans because now people are going to go into this like, yeah, that was cool. And they're going to fucking forget all about it, even though we have potential to have a whole other franchise out of this that we could get. And I'm going to pay my money for it.
Because of the beginning and ending of the film.
Exactly. Yeah. Which, you know, yeah. Anyways, yeah, I think this movie was fine. This movie was good for what it was. I liked it personally because I am an Evil Dead fan, and I thought it was fun. It was a fun ride, but I can see a world in which I was not an Evil Dead fan and I was just a horror fan and being like, God, this movie sucked. I could see that, you know what I mean? Like, because it's just safe. It's just too safe. Like they don't really like take it there. Really the most creative part of this movie was like the final boss of the movie, right? Like was like that was the most creative part of this, and because that was the part that I was like, like shit,
which like, they so beautifully foreshadowed. I might add.
Which they do in basically all the Evil Dead movies, and either have to do with the the Book of the Dead. They kind of use that because Evil Dead 2013, the guy's looking through the page, he's like, oh, look at this, oh, it's creepy, and it like shows the pages, and then all those things happen, right?
But it was the egg scene when she told about the dream.
Oh, yes. Yep. Okay. Yeah.
I connected that immediately. I was just like, oh, that's a cool way to tie that in, actually.
Yeah. I will say this movie did have a lot of foreshadowing in the ways that it set up Deadites in this. I do want to touch on, they had the potential to do more Deadite stuff, and they really could have.
Exactly, but they didn't. They didn't commit.
Yeah. Also, I do want to say through the little eye socket in the door, that hallway scene, probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
The hallway scene?
See, it's really, really interesting. I'm super glad that you said that because I was actually going to say I felt like it was a wasted scene.
Really? I actually liked it because
I wanted to see so much more from those characters because they all got experiences of their own, but then they just got laid to the side really fast.
Yeah. But and that's why I also say I wish there was more Deadite stuff because there could have been.
Which is what I'm referring to also.
Yeah.
So.
But I like that angle because as a horror fan, I like the VHS movies, and that scene specifically kind of reminded me of some of the VHS movies.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Good homage.
This movie does a whole lot of really, really cool shit too. I mean, like some of the camera like decisions that they make are fucking dope. Everything having to do with like the eye hole was fucking cool as shit. Everything to do with like the awkward angles they were doing that weren't quite Dutch angles, but they were still like lower, like kind of creepy, like in your face moments. Were all really, really good. They played with shadows a whole lot, like really, really well. There's some really cool like cinematography choices that they have in this movie that were just great, very, very tasteful. It's just the writing just seemed like very, I don't know, like it kind of felt like they were wanting an extra half an hour to be in this movie, and they just like didn't have the budget for it. Did you guys get that too? Like, it felt like they wanted to expand on those characters that were, in the other apartments. They wanted to expand on this backstory between the siblings. They wanted to expand on the story with, the ex They wanted to do those things, but they just didn't have time. And so
I don't think it was.
Well, hold on, Devin, go ahead. You go first.
I was gonna say, do remember this was originally supposed to come to HBO Max, not theatrically.
Yes, yeah, 100%. I mean, like I don't know, like it just felt like so much got left on the cutting room floor that just like, I don't know. Garrick, what were you gonna say?
Almost the exact same thing as Devin. Actually, I would like just remember this like went through several different iterations and writers and producers, and the only people that stayed on from start to finish, aside from the cast, I'm assuming, was Raimi and Campbell. Everybody else ended up changing hands from the start to finish. So I think we're just really feeling the weight of the trim and then restitching of a new story. It's retrimming, restitching.
Yeah, very much so. Because I mean, like the second they leave the apartment, right? And I'm not going to say much more than that. When the moments outside of the apartment are a different movie, like in a weird way. It's a drastically different. Like we're pushing like 40 during like the stuff in the apartment, and it just hits 100 like when things leave from there. And I get that like that sort of follows suit with the climax of the film and like how that goes, but Jesus fucking Christ, man, they rev it from that point forward. And like even though they rev it, there's still so much that got left behind. Like Devin was saying, there was a lot more they could have done in regards to Deadites in this that we haven't got since Army of Darkness. That would have been really, really cool.
We could have had something similar to like Quarantine, where they go through a few different levels of the apartment.
Yes.
That would have been cool. Because it was like a 20-floor apartment building, man. They had opportunity to touch on more characters and more Deadite versus living type stuff, right?
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting to see is if they're going to follow this up with the way that they left off, because there's some shots at the end of that movie, for like that last like 5-10 minutes, that definitely go, oh, they could do this now. Oh, she's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and that's all I was saying. Like the franchise opportunity here is vast. Like they could do a lot. And I mean, like they have room for fixing up, to be honest. I like none of this stuff is completely unforgivable. I mean, like that's what I'm saying. It's a good movie. Like it's a good movie. Mm-hmm. It's just not great. Like like, and I wanted greatness because 2013's Evil Dead spoiled us. 2013's Evil Dead is a great horror movie. It is almost a perfect horror movie. Devin, go ahead.
I do want to say, I'm not looking at Rotten Tomatoes. I want to say this. I'm looking at Metacritic.
Okay.
2013 Metacritic only got a 57. It actually did not review that well.
Yeah, but what was the audience?
But the thing is, horror movies are the weirdest fucking thing to review. They never review evenly, ever.
Yeah,
it's so rare.
Yeah, literally like Midsommar and Hereditary.
Yeah, but I can think of like I could probably name 5 in the history of horror movies that everyone's unanimously like that's a good one.
Barbarian.
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
But I think the reason why is this one was closer to that Sam Raimi vision than 2013. Don't get me wrong, I like 2013.
Yeah,
but I will say that Evil Dead Rise was closer to a Sam Raimi vision, and me personally, I do like that more. Because I mean, he's the creator of this franchise, right?
Yeah,
I like that tone. Garrick and I were talking about this earlier. Ash versus Evil Dead, the series,
I love
fucking
that
great.
Series.
It's so fucking good. Like, have you watched that yet or no?
Yeah, I haven't finished all of it, but I mean that's it.
I think that's actually my favorite iteration of
Same.
like everything that's been released as Ash.
See, that's the thing though, is like I don't necessarily disagree. I don't disagree that this is closer to Sam Raimi because that's exactly what I was saying. Evil Dead 2013 put away Sam Raimi's campiness. There's like almost no campiness in 2013's Evil Dead, because Sam Raimi was not a part of that. Like, they honored him, but he had nothing to fucking do with that movie. But this one, they like took this middle lane that said, we're going to honor Sam Raimi because he's involved in this. We're also going to try to lean a little bit into what 2013's Evil Dead was to kind of appease both parties, right?
Yeah.
I'm okay with Sam Raimi stuff when it is full on 100% unabashedly Sam Raimi, which is why Ash versus the Evil Dead is so good. That's why Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was so good, because they're unabashedly Sam Raimi. But when it's partially Sam Raimi and they're just dipping their toes in to kind of see like, oh, like, we'll maybe please a couple of people and, you know, we'll put Sam Raimi's car in the fucking movie again, it doesn't do enough for me. At that point, I'd rather just have a good fucking horror movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you're not going to lean into it, like, and I get that that's just a difference of, like, you know, opinion, which is totally fine. I mean, like, I respect the fact that you love Sam Raimi enough to want more Sam Raimi, but I'm over it. I'm over it. Like I loved what they did with 2013's Evil Dead so much. I would have just preferred that they continued down that lane, gave us dope ass fucking horror movie after dope ass horror movie, and just make it grungy and dirty and filthy and make me a little horny a little bit, and it would have been fucking great, right? Like, it would have been fucking grand to get a full franchise of those movies, you know, and that's what I wanted, I guess.
I think this is a stepping stone, especially with Campbell and Raimi getting re-involved and like producing this content, especially after doing Ash versus Evil Dead, after the game coming out and them being heavily involved with the game too. I think this is more so like a test of them seeing if Evil Dead would be successful enough for them to do more iterations, because like we heard in a very specific scene of the way that it interlocks with the other movies in the sense of volume.
Yes.
I think there's more to be had out of this, and I think there's a way to introduce more characters and find a way to tie some of these characters together from other iterations of the franchise as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess my point being, if they're gonna go Sam Raimi, I hope they go full Sam Raimi. If they don't, I just don't. Like, I guess like that's more so what I'm wanting them to aim for, because like I said, I'm spoiled by the last movie. That's all this is. I was spoiled by the last movie because we got a taste of what like Evil Dead's like tropes are in an actual horror movie, and that like tasted so good. It tasted so nom. Give me more of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I will say we did get the classic line, "You're all gonna die before dawn."
We did get that line. That was fucking great. That was fucking great.
That's in every single movie.
Yes, and like, thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. I'm glad that we all kind of have a general same consensus in this idea, because like it's been a while since we've done a review for a movie that we weren't like, oh fuck yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's been a little while since we watched the movie. We were like, yeah, this is okay. Like, I was fine with this. This is all right. I don't know how many more times I'll see this movie, like, because I've watched the last Evil Dead probably 30, 40 fucking times already. But this one, I'll buy it because I love Evil Dead that much. But like, I don't know if I'll watch it a multitude of times in the same way. I don't know. I guess we'll see. What do you think?
I'll watch it. I'm probably not going to go see it in theaters again, but as soon as it's available to rent or buy, I will do either of those. And when it's on a streaming platform, which sounds like it's going to come to Max, I give it like 45 to 60 days. It's probably going to be on Max.
Yeah.
I will rewatch it again. I will watch it again, like probably a few times, you know, with friends, stuff like that. This is definitely a movie that I would like to watch with other people and see people's reactions to, though, because I feel like this movie has moments in it that are worth just getting that audience reaction, you know, that climate reaction from people and stuff like that. I do enjoy that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely.
And I think this movie is worth it 100%. Also, just very final thought. The way that they portrayed the possession in this movie and how they kind of made it a longer experience compared to the other ones. Yes.
Yeah. It
I
was.
like
We
the
were a
way
little
they
bit
did
more
that.
interpersonal with it for sure. Yeah, that was a good choice. That definitely was.
Yeah.
I do want to get into some questions here, especially for Garrett, because I want to pick his brain a little bit more here. But before we do, have a word from our sponsors. This piece of good Kraken content is brought to you by Glide mousepads. The world is changing, and the demand for PC gaming and work from home setups has never been as wild as it is right now. Having the best of the best in PC accessories only makes it easier to get your work done before you jump right back in to the fray of the digital sea. And Glide knows exactly how to make that happen for you. Glide Mousepads is the future industry leader in mousepads, offering beautiful, smooth, waterproof products made with eco-friendly materials and non-slip rubber in a variety of sizes that are guaranteed to help you get that next win. I've got one of these bad boys in my office at work. I've got one here at my desk right now. Devin's got one. Xander's got one. This bad boy is silky smooth, silkier and smoothier than even the silkiest of smoothies or soy milk or what have you. You can go to glidemousepads.com right now and use code Kraken for 15% off the Founders Edition mousepad in every size available. Again, that's code KRAKEN Kraken for 15% off any Founders Edition mousepad today. Our next sponsor is Rogue Energy. Late nights are pretty much commonplace for all content creators, and anyone here at GK can attest that late nights are kind of our only nights. Luckily for us, though, Rogue has figured out exactly how to give those late nights and even earlier mornings the supercharge that we all need. Rogue Energy is a low-calorie, no-sugar energy formula that is the perfect alternative to sugar-filled canned energy drinks and sodas. Every formula Rogue Energy produces is designed with optimal levels of high-quality ingredients and no chalky textures. Again, we don't want that. We don't want that. Being the only gaming drink company in the world with 4 unique product lines to suit your task at hand, Rogue Energy strives to improve the in-game performance of gamers, streamers, and content creators around the world. Now, I know that we've been riding this train for a long time. You might be tired of us talking about this. You might not be tired of us. You might want to just support us anyways. And you know what? For those that do support us, we love you. But the best way to support us right now is to grab yourself a big old cup of Joe. When I say Joe, I mean this Rogue Energy stuff. I need you waking up first thing in the morning with a big old shit to get a big old shit going. Oh, wow. You grab your Rogue Energy cup. Okay, you dip that bad, you just scoop that bad boy right on there. You give that bad boy a shaky dakey, you know what I'm saying? And then you're out the dang door, okay? You need this beverage in your life. I cannot express that enough. You can head on over to rogueenergy.com and use code GKRAKEN for 10% off any purchase of shaker or formula tub of your choosing. That's GKRAKEN for 10% off any shaker or formula tub that you would like. Now, back to the episode. What? That was weird. It just like froze for a second. That was on. We're back, guys. So what I want to ask you guys next here, actually real quick. So Girlspit says we need Evil Dead camp in a world full of super serious horror. We do. I mean, like that's why Nightmare on Elm Street is as good as it is. Like literally, that's why those movies fucking do incredibly well. Chucky, that's why that movie became popular.
Oh, dude,
like
the series was actually enjoyable. It was back to that classic camp from Child's Play.
Yeah,
I do recommend that.
Yeah,
I do recommend that.
The Scream movies are as good as they are because camp, also because they're meta-ness, but that's a flavor thing.
I'd say that those are straight up fucking meta parody movies. As
The meta-ness kills those movies for me.
Devin
I'm sorry.
Hates meta movies, man, especially when
no. That's not always true. That's not always true.
And if it's not realistic, it's not 100% realistic. He doesn't want it.
Scream specifically, dog. It's like, come on, man.
It's okay, Devin. I don't care for Scream much either.
Apparently, I don't either because I fucking hated the last movie, and then the newest one, I was like, yeah, sure, it's fun. Like,
See, there you go. Scream made for us.
Yeah, I
Don't
know.
get me wrong. There are meta movies.
But if
I
you
like.
watch
Come
it,
on,
go for
Ready
it.
Player One. That's meta as fuck. Like, come on, let's be real.
It's kind of meta. It's kind of meta.
It's just pop culture-y.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it like
Anyways.
makes fun of gamers, but anyways. So what I want to ask you guys next here, without spoilers, if we're able to pull it off here, which I think we can. Do you guys have a moment in this movie that like stood out for you, like that you were like, oh yeah, this is good, like this, I want more of that, right?
I think we can all agree with the ending. So, like, ending aside, I think we should, talk about other parts in the movie, right? Because I feel like we all have a general consensus is the ending was actually worth it.
The final act was dope as shit. Yeah, the entire
I did
final
like
act was good. There
Yeah.
was, obviously the hallway thing was like, take it or leave it, but everything to do
Everything
with like, the
after
final
that.
yeah, was fucking sick.
Not the standout piece, but I do like how they did the classic Evil Dead, like from under the face, like floating through camera part. That was very classic Sam Raimi Evil Dead right there.
Yeah.
That was a good callback. I think my standout scene specifically, and this goes along with like Alyssa's performance, is the bathroom scene.
Yeah, dude, that bathroom scene was fucking rad, dude.
I think if we want to talk about like any moments of actual horror in this movie, I think that was a pinnacle of it. And the only other thing that stands up to that in the horror aspect of the movie, in my opinion, is when Beth is listening to the audio by herself in that room. And you just get the nice little blurred
the corner
background.
Piece. Yeah, the corner
yeah,
piece. Right,
I think those moments were very were a good highlight in the horror aspect of this movie.
Garrick, what about you?
I'm trying to think. There wasn't a ton that stood out for me.
Besides the ending.
Outside of the ending, yeah, this one didn't do a lot to impress me. Okay, I guess I would say I wasn't quite. I mean, I knew they were gonna do some things with Deadites, right? I knew like we were probably going to get more than one. I wasn't sure how we were going to get there, but I think that was I was pleased with how they ended up doing that. I wasn't expecting some of those characters to kind of meet their fates that they did.
Yes.
And I really liked. I guess honestly, I think I really specifically enjoyed the way that they handled the family and all of their ending experiences. I felt like each of those were very memorable and impactful and I felt like they were memorable and impactful because one, they didn't make them ridiculous or like bombastic. They were violent, sure, but they all felt kind of. These ones weren't the moments where they were violent for violence sake. There were some moments involving those characters that were, but like their endings were not. All of their endings felt very on point. Yeah. And I really liked the way that the families met their end experiences.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed. I do like that as well. I would go as far as to say that the initial contact they have with the mom after post transformation, right? It's like mom walks in, goes to the kitchen, they go to the kitchen too. Like from that point up to mom basically passing the fuck out and dying. That, like, again, just not say too much, but that whole sequence involving their introduction to her now being possessed was very good. Like, that was very fucking good. All the monologue that had to do with that part, I was like, oh yeah, this is the part of the movie that I was like, actually, like, okay, I'm scared with them, because that part actually did feel gross. It felt like very, very just like, yeah, I don't like that, dude. Like, but especially so because it wasn't just violent. Like they used the monologue to kind of like create the ambiance there, the tension that was there, and it was beautifully executed. Fucking beautifully fucking executed. Everything like the eggs and shit. I was like, oh fuck. Oh shit, they're getting grosser, dude. That's gross, man. So what I guess another thing that I want to ask you guys too is, so we got to experience a couple new things in this in comparison to Evil Dead movies. This is based in an apartment complex. The earthquake thing is not necessarily new, but they gave it a new take, right? There's that. There was the prequel, post-quel thing that they did with the story, right? When, like, in regards to the intro and the outro of the movie.
That intro was great, actually.
The intro was good, and that's why I got whiplash for a second. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" I was like, "Where the fuck are they? This isn't what I saw in the trailer." But
you're like, "Who the fuck are these guys?"
I know, what the fuck. What the fuck is this? I was supposed to get a family in an apartment complex. What the fuck? Supposed to be like fucking Harlem.
Motherfuckers at a cabin in the woods. Yeah. They like tricked you. They gave you like the OG Evil Dead scene. You're like, hold on.
Oh wait, hold the fuck up.
That was really good too. Let's just say the first quote unquote death of the movie. It's actually pretty good.
It was a very Sam Raimi ass death. It was.
Yeah.
And that I appreciate. When that happened was when I realized, okay, that's what they're doing here, right? And I was able to kind of buckle my seatbelt a little bit from that point forward. Because that entire opening sequence, right, was Sam Raimi as fuck, right? Like, we can all agree on that.
It's like that wasn't part of the movie to begin with, and I feel like the climax was done by Sam Raimi, and the intro was done by Sam Raimi. Does that make any sense?
Right.
You know,
right.
It feels like that's where like his finger got left longest in the pie, so to speak.
Yeah, right. Now, other interesting fact that I didn't put in the fun facts too. This is one of those weird, interesting moments where in filming movies they don't usually do this. But this movie was actually filmed in chronological order of the events that are in the movie. So yeah, they actually did it straight up in chronological order. So obviously we can see like the cabin stuff was done after, was filmed after all the stuff involving the apartment.
Because it plays.
Yes, right. Technically, yeah, right.
Technically,
like there's.
So that's It's like I wonder why does it give a reason like in like any of the articles as to why they like
no explanation.
Just a choice?
Yeah, just
an artistic choice. Interesting.
Yeah. Movies don't usually do that. They'll go random chunk, just kind of page 14 on the script. We have to film that today, like, and they'll go all over the goddamn place. But yeah, this is done 100% chronological order. So that was good. That was good to know too. Now, with that said, though, was there anything in this movie, Garrick? And I want to ask you this first: was there anything that you did see in this movie that you do want them to carry forward with in the potential chance of a Evil Dead? Not Rise, like, because we have like Batman Begins and then The Dark Knight. What if it's like the Evil Knight, right? So what do you want to be carried into the Evil Knight in this scenario?
Beth, first and foremost, I want Beth's character to continue. I want to see more Beth. I think Beth's character has some strong foundations. In this movie, because like I said, this is a very standalone experience. They don't really do much to tie into pre-existing films, but I feel like Beth is absolutely like fits really strongly into that like that Deadite Slayer brand of character that we're familiar with in the campier side of Evil Dead. And I think it would be downright fucking cool to see the King himself and Beth cross paths on screen one day. That would be fucking cool. Especially if she hangs on to her newly acquired item. Like
I love that.
That'd be cool because I want that to be more than just an homage and more of a like this is like the new, you know? Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So like that was one thing I really would like to see. I did feel like Beth was a great character, great supporting character. I also really enjoyed the fact that they described this film and the events in this film in a way that made it so they're like, okay, run.
Yeah. Yeah. They definitely make it very clear. This
Like,
isn't
that's
something
the
to be
only way.
trifled
Like,
with.
this is the solution. I like that running is the only answer. I enjoy that. That is scary to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
that is something to be fearful of, and it's something that I thought was very different compared to some of the other ones, because in the past they've had like means to stop the events in one form or another,
Yeah.
and they established very quickly this is not your daddy's Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
right, and so like I like that, like the events of this film have immediate repercussions for the world, not
Yes.
just that apartment complex.
Yep. And I think that's what I want to see carried over is I want to see a chaotic beginning of a post-apocalyptic era Evil Dead movie. I want to see that carry into a new way where
My boy
it's
wants
more
Ghostbusters, bro. That's
no, bro, no. I'm thinking like give me Ash versus Evil Dead.
Modern Army of
Modern.
Darkness.
Exactly, and have it be the cityscape dealing with this. Give me Dawn of the Dead, but Evil Dead style in LA. Give that to me. Give me Evil Dead LA.
LA. Welcome to LA.
For anyone who doesn't understand that, that's a call to Dead Island too.
But you see what I'm saying though? Like if you watch Ash versus Evil Dead, they kind of give you a little bit of that, but that's more of like a small town vibe, you know? Where like give me that post-apocalyptic Evil Dead movie. Show more demons, show more means to resolution, show characters who have the guts to fight back like Beth or, Bruce Campbell, but also give me stakes at the same time,
I got something for you guys, and this could be kind of our final question here. Put on your tinfoil hats a little bit, okay? Devin, I'm going to ask you this first because you're our tinfoil hat king, right? Do we or do we not see Mia again from 2013's Evil Dead, and do you want that?
Yes.
Yes and yes?
Yes, I think between the events of what they've done over the last decade for Evil Dead, including the number of volumes, I think we have room for that. And I think after the video game shedding more light on how many demons, demonic forces there are, I think we have room for that. And I think we have room for maybe a new trilogy, a new Deadite trilogy or whatever you want to call it.
Evil Dead Rise, the Evil Night, and the Evil Night Rise
Returns.
Returns. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, like we got Evil Dead Rise. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's get a new Army of Darkness going. Like they could use the same name. I would not be upset with it because they did that for 2013.
Army of Evil.
Yeah. Like they could continue on. I think they have room to, and I think there's enough lore established where they could, and characters within the space.
Garrick, same question.
Yeah. They very much allude to the fact that like the entities that are summoned from this book are all tied to, that greater demon, the taker of souls. And so because it's already well established that like multiple possessions can be in place. But Mia's at the ending of Evil, this is a fucking 10-year-old movie. Mia's body wasn't destroyed at the end, which is generally how in the past they get rid of Deadites, or they slow them down because then the Deadite has to possess a new host. But this never happens to Mia. And Mia's possession remains, but we don't know what happened to her. I think there is plenty of space for now we've got like this Deadite who has not only been possessed but maintained their possession over a single host for like X amount of time, and now their like power is going to grow, right? Or at least that's kind of what I'm seeing, right? Like now they've gained experience from like the individuals and souls that they've taken from the people they've killed, and Mia's been roaming free for however fucking long, and I think it would be very interesting to see them kind of have like this Evil Dead like Avengers level threat sort of thing that they could like work towards.
I like love that and hate that term at the same time.
I fucking love. That's the secret, Cap. I'm always possessed. Devin, should people see this movie?
That is Campbell's ass.
Should people see this movie right away? And what is your final score?
If you're a fan of Evil Dead, absolutely you should see this movie because there is some homage in it that I think you will enjoy. If you are a horror buff and you like peak horror, I'm gonna say no. I would give this movie a 7.5.
All right, Garrett.
I think, like I said, I think this is a very honorable addition, very worthy addition to the Evil Dead franchise. But it really does kind of start and stop there for me. If you're an Evil Dead fan, this is absolutely worth seeing. There are some characters that don't unfortunately make the appearances that you might expect from the series past, but it's still a great addition. Really honors the lore of past iterations of the franchise, and I think that's what really makes this movie good. But I do wholeheartedly agree with Devin. If you want to go see something that is like peak horror and you really want to go to get like your scare on, this film is simply not it. And I am going to give this a 7.
All right.
If you want peak horror, go watch Smile.
Good movie. Yeah, I definitely in agreement. I don't think that horror movie buffs will be greatly appeased by this film. I do think that if you're a general horror movie fan, sure, you might enjoy it, but the big horror heads out there are not going to have as great of a time. If you're an Evil Dead fan, you'll be eating this up like crazy for what it is, just because it is a fun Evil Dead movie. I do think that is worth something in and of itself. This is a great addition to the Evil Dead franchise. It does do the job. I personally think 2013's Evil Dead is obviously better. The characters are wonderful in this and do a great job of carrying it, but it just was not enough for me to feel like this was worth someone else spending $20 to go see in a movie theater right off the cuff. Honestly, wait 45 days until it comes to HBO Max, or rent it on Amazon for $20 here in a couple of weeks, something like that. I think that'll be fine from the comfort of your home. I don't think it's worth going to the fucking theater for right off the cuff unless you are a big Evil Dead fan. There are some great things in this that make this movie worth watching at some point or another. There's great character stuff. There's some moments that are wonderful. There's a trans actor that they don't make them being trans a plot point, which is incredible that they did that.
It literally doesn't even come up. It's so good.
Doesn't come up at all. They're just there
just
as a regular person, and that is fucking rad. That's the way it should be. Yeah, there's some things that are great in this. Don't think you need to see in theaters right away. This movie is also going to get a 7 from me as well. With us doing our averaging out and rounding up, that puts this movie at a 7.5 for us at Good Kraken here. So with that said, guys, thank you for coming in. Let's go ahead and go over our schedule for next week. So Tuesday, we have another Good Kraken podcast. We're going to be talking, have open world games spoiled us? We got a lot of abundance of open world games these days, and we're trying to talk a little bit about whether or not there are too many or not, and what that means for video games going forward. So please come in for that. That's going to be a good one. Next Wednesday, we got DJ's Doubloons, where our good old very own DJ Simfix will be playing The Last of Us Part 1 on PC. It's going to be a very interesting experience.
The fact that it's the PC version.
I'm excited to see what kind of shit he ends up running into and what he has to say about some of them. That's gonna be a fucking good show. Don't miss that one, guys. But then next Thursday we have another Shipwreck Show live, and then next Friday our good old very own Garrick Vermilion Voyages will be happening next Friday, where he will be playing the brand new Star Wars Jedi Survivor next week. You definitely,
my body is ready.
God, it's gonna be such a fucking good game. I'm excited for it, dude. You guys can come in, hang out for that. That's gonna be a fucking good one. And then next Saturday, we will be doing another Good Kraken podcast. We'll be doing a spoiler-free review for the new movie Sisu. This is be fucking rad, baby. That's be a fucking good movie. I can feel it and feel it in my loins. So there it is.
Scalps.
There it is, everybody. Official 7.5 out of 10 coming from Good Kraken right here for you guys. Evil Dead Rise. That's going to be it for you guys. Please let us know whether or not you felt the same. If you have seen it already, whether or not you are excited to see it. Let us know if you think we're fucking out of our minds and this movie was actually a 10 out of 10 because you are a weird Sam Raimi shill. Leave that in our Discord. Leave that on Twitter. Put that in the comments down below. We love to hear from you guys. This has been the Good Kraken Podcast, your choice for all the nerdy video game and pop media news, reviews, and discussions that you wanted to hear. Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 12 p.m. right here at twitch.tv/Good Kraken Show. If you enjoyed the show, you can head on over to our Discord channel where you can submit questions to topics of the show. You get exclusive post-show content, and you can have early access episodes before they go live on podcast and video services across the digital sea. But you can also support us by going to our YouTube channel, clicking that beautiful bell and big red button, or by subscribing to our podcast channel by searching Good Kraken with an exclamation mark and leaving a review there. We got to get going, everybody. But until next time, my friends, you titty-sucking parasites. What did she say?
You fucking groupie!
Yeah.
I want to cut you all open and hold you in my insides or some shit.
Crawl inside of you.
Oh, there we go. Thank you.
Be one big happy family.